How you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful day. So today we're back in the US. We're right outside of Washington, D.C. and we're about to do something we haven't done before. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna ride on the Capital Wheel. Now, one of our favorite places to visit in London is the London Eye. I think I've been on it about 3 times. But today we're gonna take a stroll, ring around the Capital Wheel. Today we're going to take a ring around the Capital Wheel. We want to see how it compares to the London Eye. Now I can tell you off the top, the London Eye is bigger, but is the view better? For the Eye, you're in downtown London. Here you're right outside of DC, but I don't know what view you can see from here. It appears to be on the low side of the city, but until we get up on the Capital Wheel, I can't say, but let's go find out. What do we think is better, the London Eye or the Capital Wheel? Now, I've talked about the National Harbor before. It's a great area if you're visiting Washington, D.C. This is a great area to come stay. Plenty of great top-notch hotels, a lot of food, shopping. Everything is kind of right here for you to be able to have a wonderful experience right here and to base yourself out of as you go and travel across the Washington, D.C. area, see all of the, the Smithsonian's and all of those things. There are a lot of bronze statues here, but here's some of the ones that are really cool. We have George Washington here. Of course, Abraham Lincoln. I am not shaking his hand because that is not COVID safe. And then, of course, Frederick Douglass. These are really nice. Right up under the sign it says National Harbor with like the US flag built into it. So very much like the US patriotism here, and recognizes some of the US founding fathers. The National Harbor is a great location if you want to have a place to have dinner, if you're looking to stay. Right across that bridge ahead of me is Washington, D.C. So you're just right outside the city, just a really nice location. There's a lot of monuments here. Of course, you see the U.S. flags up all over the place. That is as American as it comes. Mount Vernon, Alexandria, Washington, D.C. Just a nice pictorial map of the Washington, D.C. metro area. And then there's the Capital Wheel. That's where we're heading. National Harbor is really caught on as a place for people and families to visit, to go out for dinner. This is a weeknight, and so everyone's out here just kind of enjoying themselves. I remember when this place was first built, and it was a ghost town. It just took a couple years for people to catch on to this location, but it's really coming along nicely now. Like I said, you can see a lot of families out here. There's kids out all over the place. It's just kind of really wonderful, family-friendly atmosphere. I'm not sure if the London Eye was the first Ferris wheel in a major capital city, but I know that it kind of set the tone, and a lot of other cities have copied it. The one in DC definitely was built after the London Eye. There's a nice one in Singapore as well. We didn't try that one, but we did see it. And what other major cities, if you know, drop that in the comments down below if you know of other major cities or capital cities that have built a Ferris wheel kind of in the model of the London Eye. This Ferris wheel is lit up 24 hours a day, and at night it just kind of, it's carnival. It is very bright. It's very festive, and it has constantly changing light patterns. Today the light patterns appear to be in US colors, red, white, and blue. There's a US holiday coming up, Memorial Day. Rotating colors. It's just very visible as you're crossing the DC area. You're gonna see the Capital Wheel. So every time we've gone on the London Eye, it's been a massively long line. It takes at least 20-30 minutes to get on. But here this evening, like I said, it's weeknight. We're just walking straight up. It costs $82 for 4 kids, 2 adults. So 2 things I noticed really quickly. about the differences in these two Ferris wheels. One, this one is much smaller, and it goes in 15-minute intervals. So once the ride starts, you'll ride for 15 minutes, and you're doing multiple rotations. The London Eye is actually so large, you actually only do one rotation all the way around, and then your ride is over. But I think it takes a little longer than 15 minutes to do that entire rotation. So we're gonna have to wait about 12 minutes for the ride, which just started, to finish a cycle of rotating around multiple times, and then we'll get on. It also appears to be moving much faster than the London Eye. So I hope we don't get sick. I hope no one gets sick. Watch your step. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Watch your step. Oh, Blake, let me switch seats with you.
Any emergencies, hit the red button above you, okay?
All right. It's much more like a Ferris wheel that you have at a carnival, a festival, Oktoberfest or something like that. You're swaying back and forward a little bit, but the view is getting really pretty up here. Let me let you see it. Although it's a little hazy, you can definitely see the Washington Monument from here. I can see, it looks like the National Cathedral far, far in the distance. That's about 20 miles away. So the view from up here is still pretty good.
He got stuck. Godzilla was out of nowhere in Texas. Godzilla.
I thought Godzilla was in Japan. So this is very much a different experience. So on the London Eye, you can barely feel your rotation, you don't move, and people who are afraid of heights, you just don't feel it as bad. Here, you're hanging in the air and we're just rocking back and forward. Let's go.
You guys have a good one.
You too. Okay, so $82, 6 rotations on the Capital Wheel. Oh, look at this, we have a family photo. My head is cut off.
What do you want, man?
Did he take a picture?
How much is the little?
Well, everything that is 25.
All this? Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Okay, so that was a lot of fun. It's a great experience. It's a wonderful Ferris wheel. If you get that opportunity, as I always say, come try it. It's a great Ferris wheel. We really enjoyed it. It doesn't really compare to the London Eye. It's more like a carnival Ferris wheel, something you get at what we call it a fair. You have a Ferris wheel, not quite that big. It's a good size, and we got the whole family in there, and it didn't sway too much, but it's more in line with a normal Ferris wheel, whereas the London Eye, again, I think the size of that and the slow rotation one time around, you just don't get the seasickness. I feel a little queasy from this one, so you get a little bit of the seasickness from the swaying back and forth for about 15 minutes. But hey, if you can handle that, it's still a great experience. I give the win to the London Eye.
The London Eye doesn't win just because of size, but mostly because of location. That location in central London where the views are absolutely phenomenal. The London Eye is really large, it's massive, it can hold a lot of people, but those views are what sets it above any other Ferris wheel. So the London Eye is at the top of the list for anyone visiting London for the first time, just to give you that beautiful overview of what the overall city looks like. But the Capital Wheel is still a great Ferris wheel. The National Harbor is a great area and it just sits right outside of Washington, D.C. So if you're in D.C., try the Capital Wheel, and if you're in London, try the London Eye. They both have so much to offer, great experiences in both locations. Okay, that's it. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Until the next time, take care.